Good evening. My name is Jake Van Horn. I'm a master's student with Columbia Southern University. The following is a theoretical presentation to a group of policymakers discussing emergency management. Good evening. My name is Jake Van Horn. I'm honored and extremely excited to be with you all this evening. I'm looking forward to my new role as your state lead of our emergency management agency. For the last 15 years, I've worked as a fire chief in two different organizations. I've been in the fire service for 25 years now and have had the absolute honor and privilege of working in suburban, urban, and rural settings with absolutely fantastic individuals. It is truly amazing what we can accomplish when we don't care who gets the credit. Those are not my words. Those are our 33rd president, Harry S. Truman's words, but it's just really true. And I've found that to be accurate time and time again. And I think it's important for us all to recognize that all of us in this room right now are the people who can have a direct impact on the future of emergency management in our state. So why is emergency management so important? Well, I think we know that emergency management, it is what provides the framework necessary for handling large-scale and dynamic emergencies at the state level. Emergency management, it is what saves lives and protects property. Effective emergency management, it maintains order, which also provides a higher level of safety to our state and our communities. It facilitates evacuation and shelter. It restores normalcy, which is absolutely critical for our citizens, and it guides effective communication, which is really where it all begins. Traditionally in Washington State, we have focused heavily on the hazardous material side of emergency management. Over the next 5 years, this is going to remain one of our top priorities, but I'm going to be working hard to bring all special ops under the same umbrella of emergency management at the state level. Fire departments across the state are absolutely critical for effective emergency management. But the reality is that no single fire department has the staffing and capacity to handle any and all emergencies that their communities may experience. Partnerships with our regional partners, state level organizations, even across state lines, these key partnerships are very important when emergencies happen, and they will happen. And with that, it's also important that we partner and develop relationships within the private sector and our elected officials at both the local and state level. We need to be working with state agencies and federal agencies, our volunteer forces and our nonprofits. Really, it's all these groups coming together in an effective manner during an emergency that really leads to the best outcome. And those relationships do not begin when the emergency starts. Those relationships begin well before the emergency. And it's meetings like this, and it's conversations like this, and it's one interaction, one decision at a time as we develop the relationships necessary and so important for our community. Wildfire in Washington State is of significant concern. Our automatic mutual aid models, our state mobilization models, they are good, but we're going to do even better. To a certain extent, wildfire response teams, incident management teams, they are a special operation, and we are going to fund them and train them and deploy them as such. With that, we need to remember that our state level management teams, our Type 3 teams, and our Type 1 teams, they may be deployed on a variety of emergencies. Well, Washington State has a very dynamic risk structure. We have our ocean shores, where we have the real risk of tsunamis. We have a very seismically active area of the state. We have a number of active volcanoes, and these are real concerns. We have the eastern side of the state, where fast-moving range fires with limited resources that can quickly overwhelm a community is a risk pretty much through May to October each and every year. As the emergency manager of Washington State, it'll be a priority to me to have adequate Type 3 and Type 1 teams positioned on both the west and east side of the state. We should have duplication of response capabilities with our USAR teams, with a west, central, and eastern team ready to respond to a variety of locations within the state to render aid. It's going to be very important that we continue to develop our mutual and automatic aid plans with both our regional and state level partners. It's going to be important that on the border areas that we have these same agreements in place across state lines. One of the big things that we're taking a look at state emergency management is what are the emerging trends that we need to be aware of in our different risk structures as we become more aware of vulnerabilities within our power grids and the potential for long-term power disruptions or outages, potential of seismic activity cutting off supply chain routes east to west. When we look at the added threat of civil unrest and other emergency events of that nature, developing plans for resilient communities is a very high priority for us at the state level. And none of this is possible without trust. We have to have trust in this room first. We have to have relationships in this room first, and then that has to extend to the communities that we have a duty to serve and a duty to protect. Gaining trust in our communities is one decision, one communication at a time. It's taking time to interact with the different groups at the local level, our city councils, our neighborhood associations, responding to phone calls in a timely manner, replying to emails. All these things matter, and all these things add up. We're also going to have a new division within state emergency management for media and media publications. We're going to work hard at the state level on all of our hazard mitigation plans to bring the community in to that process at the same level. What we have found as we've gone through the hazard mitigation process within the different communities in the state, that while there is some stakeholder engagement, through local fire departments and even some city councils. Very few members of the community know the purpose of the hazard mitigation plans, understand what those mitigation action items really mean. And really what it comes down to is really understanding the real risk in their community. And that's something that we want to correct at the state level. Not only do we want community involvement and engagement within those plans from the very beginning, but we want them understood. We want to give opportunities for our citizens to ask questions and fully understand the real risk that are out there within the community that they live in, and then give them the tools that they need to prepare, to become resilient. You're going to hear that term a lot over the next 5 years, developing resilient communities. Developing a resilient community is really the highest level of protection that we can have for our citizens. We can deploy resources after the fact. We can support recovery efforts, but nothing can beat putting resilience into our plans from the very beginning, before the emergency actually strikes. We're also going to be focusing heavily on taking care of our emergency responders, the people that are going to be out there doing that work. And yes, taking care of them during the emergency, but also taking care of them before the emergency strikes. We're going to have an active peer support program and resources available during high stress emergencies, before and after, and put our emergency responders' mental health at the same level as their physical health. It's also extremely important to us that we build equality and diversity across all of our organizations. This has been a long-standing concept within the fire service, that our emergency service organizations should look like the communities that we serve. This is key to building trust, and this is an important action that we are going to take at the state level. Training and professional development. We're going to reimagine that. We're gonna unpack every special team, every special op. We're gonna analyze that through real risks in each community, and we're gonna start collecting data points that we can understand our real performance. All training programs, all professional development programs, all leadership development is going to be based on risk, is going to be based on performance metrics, and it's going to be based on performance outcomes that we would like to see in our community. I'm excited for the future of Washington State. I believe that our future is bright, despite the challenges, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you in the years to come. One thing that I have learned in all my time in the fire service is everything is based on relationship, and everything is based on trust, and there is nothing that's an individual effort. Emergency management is the same way. Emergency management is about team building and working as a team, and putting these things in place in support of the communities that we all live in, that our families live in, and our loved ones and friends is my absolute highest priority. I'm excited to dig into this next 5 years and see where we all will all end up. So with that, I will give you guys back the rest of your evening, and I look forward to seeing you out there in the command post. Have a good night.